What's up, legends? Welcome back to the show. I'm going to be taking you through everything you need to know to go on your first surf trip. So here's the deal. I went on my first surf trip like 2.5 years ago at this point, and I was a total kook at that point. I literally pulled up to the airport with my fins screwed into my board. I didn't even know you were supposed to undo your fins, take them out for transport. But to be honest, I've come a long way since then. From my very first trip with my fins still screwed into my board, all the way to today, where I've traveled across Indonesia, Australia, the Pacific Islands, and now Central America. So I'm here to prepare you for your very first surf trip. Here are the things you're going to need as far as equipment. Number 1, extra fins. 2, fin key and a leash. So these are just the basics here, and just because you're going to a place with great waves does not necessarily mean that this place will have good surf infrastructure. So it's one thing to do your research about the place before you go, but also it's good to always be in the habit of having your own stuff. And here's the reason why. When you go to a surf spot that doesn't have good surf infrastructure but has a great wave, that wave is going to be less crowded than if there's already a thriving surf infrastructure there. That's why we look at really developed places like, say, Costa Rica or certain parts of Indonesia. The crowds there get pretty intense. However, once you get away from the crowd and away from the average surfers and into the more explorers, then your surf appetite is opened up to waves that you never knew could have existed. Now, it's super important to bring extra of everything. So here's a story. I only traveled around Indonesia for nearly 4 months with one extra fin, and one day I forgot to screw in my fin completely, and I turned my board over and I saw that I was missing a fin. Luckily, when I went back to my board bag, the one extra fin I had was the back right fin, the one that I lost. So I got super lucky in that situation. It was a super remote place in Indonesia, and if I hadn't packed that extra fin, or if I had lost another fin on my board, I would have been dead out of luck. So definitely make sure you bring extra fins. Extra fins and extra leash. Number 2, zinc and sunscreen. So here's the deal. If you're a foreigner traveling to places like Central America or the Pacific Islands, the sun is super hot and you're going to be out surfing all day. So if you come from working an office job or not being outside a ton to being out surfing for 4 to 6 hours a day, you're gonna get sunburned. There's just no way around it. So you need to come prepared with your own zinc and your own sunscreen. Now, many places do have sunscreen and zinc for you to purchase. However, you're gonna end up paying maybe 3 to 4 times as much as you would if you just bulk ordered them on Amazon or something like this. And that's actually why I've prepared a document for you guys, which you can download by subscribing to my newsletter. All you have to do is sign up to my newsletter and you get sent this document that has all the things you need to go on a surf trip and the links to purchase them. So I made this super easy for you guys, totally free to get this document, and then you can just look through, see what you do have, what you don't have, and any of the things you don't have, you can just order easily. This is a list that I've curated over the past 2 years of surf traveling, and it has everything you need, and it's literally everything I have in my own board bag. So number 3, you gotta make sure you have travel insurance. So surfing is a dangerous sport. I see stories all the time of people who don't have travel insurance and end up paying crazy medical bills just for a slip and fall they have in the water or getting into the water, something like this. We really got to make sure that you guys are covered when you go surf traveling. Again, I've put a link to my preferred travel insurance in the document, so just head to that document and you guys will get sorted out for everything. Now, this is especially true if you're traveling internationally. So for some of you guys who are going on a surf trip, it'll be your first time traveling abroad maybe. It's super important to get travel insurance because nearly every insurance in your home country will not cover you as you go abroad. This travel insurance is relatively cheap for what it can save you from. I mean, if you need to get rushed to a hospital in some places, it's thousands and thousands of dollars. And this travel insurance, I think, is only $50 a month. So definitely make sure that you get the travel insurance. Number 4, we want to make sure we bring some supplements with us. Supplements are important in everyday life, but extremely important while surf traveling. So the supplements that I like are LMNT for electrolytes, and then really any brand of protein powder. I'm not too caught up with it. Here's the deal. A lot of places you'll not be able to get sufficient protein in your diet. So I know for myself, certain spots in the Pacific Islands that are underdeveloped, certain spots in Indonesia that are underdeveloped, your plate will be 95% rice and a little bit of chicken, and that's all you get. So after surfing for 8 hours a day, to come back and only eat rice is not gonna it's just not gonna get the job done. Your body's gonna fall apart. It needs that nutrients, it needs that protein. So I always make sure to bring protein powder in my board bag, and it's a total game changer. Electrolytes, you can get any brand of electrolytes and even just get some salt and crack it into your water if you don't feel like purchasing them. That's totally cool. However, I would really recommend getting something like LMNT. They're super tasty, and I'm a fan of their electrolytes in general. So we got supplements covered, we got equipment covered, we got travel insurance covered. And the last thing we need covered is to protect our board during transit. So I used to totally raw dog it when it came to putting my board into a bag and just hoping for the best. But if you go on enough airlines, you will understand that they do not handle your boards with care. It is your responsibility to make sure your board is protected, and here are a few tricks. So first, you want a board sock. This will just prevent, scratches and things like that. However, to maintain the integrity of the board, you're gonna wanna get pool noodles, those pool noodles that you can float on. You're gonna cut them down the middle long ways and wrap them around the rails of your board. When you do this and you put it into a board bag, it really locks it into place and protects it from jostling around, getting dinged through the travel and things like that. So there you go. Number 4 is board protection. All in all, equipment, supplements, travel insurance, board protection, and last but not least, you gotta be in surf shape. So that's not something you bring, but you just gotta be in surf shape. Make sure you're getting into surf shape, doing the workouts, doing breath exercises so you don't get freaked out on your first bad hold down, and then you'll hit the ground running on your first surf trip. So this is a video that I just wanted to make because I know if I watched it before I went on my first surf trip, it would have saved me a lot of embarrassment and a lot of times just not being prepared with stuff. And as surfers, we're not the most prepared people in the world. So hopefully this helps you prepare for your surf trip. And also in the comments, just let me know if I'm forgetting anything. If there's any travel hacks or stuff that you guys have picked up, some of the more experienced surfers out there, that you guys have picked up throughout the years that I didn't mention here. I think I covered it all, but I'm always open to new things. So thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful. If it was, then please make sure to like, subscribe. It helps me out. All right.